think this thing is on. How is it going, everybody? Welcome to the Kalispell Warhawk Dynasty. This is the offseason here in Season 7 of the series. It's great to be with you all here on this Saturday afternoon. We're set to play, well, not really play some football today. We're going to practice. But today we have, of course, another edition here of the offseason. And it is time to make a big jump for Kalispell in this series. We have spent the first 7 years in the Mountain West Conference, and while it's been, a fun time in the conference, it is time for a new challenge. And that new challenge is going to be the Pac-12. We are going to be joining the Pac-12 North Division and beginning a new journey in one of the Power 5 conferences after 7 great years in the Mountain West. We may still hold together some of our rivalries for now, but we're going to be meeting a new set of rivalries here very shortly. How is everybody doing today? Nice haircut, Tim. Thank you, Peyton. I just got it this morning here. I knew y'all were going to get on me about it anyway, so I thought might as well just get that out the way. Plus, it was bugging me. My hair grows so fast. That's why I like it a little bit longer than this, but I get it this short because if I don't, then I'm going to need more haircuts, like more often. So that's what we've done so far in 7 years. It's been outstanding. Make Oregon game 1. When it comes to conference opponents, well, I guess you can schedule another conference opponent, I think, as a non-conference. I forget how it works. But the main thing I want to do is make sure we end up playing UCLA, especially if Heikkinen sticks around. Why not the South? Geographically, it makes more sense to put us in the North. Plus, it has some teams that I want to play, such as Washington, Washington State, and Oregon. The main team in the South I want to play, well, they have some of the mountain states there. I think that Utah and Colorado are each in the South. But that's okay. I feel Utah is a rival. Yeah, that could definitely be one of our protected rivalries if we're not in the same division. I don't know the Pac-12 perfectly, so we'll get to that. But thank you all for joining me today. I sorry I was a little bit late. And speaking of, the first Super Chat of the day references it. 27 Super Yankees. 3 guarantees in life. Death, taxes, and you being late. That's right. I was having a heck of a time here with lining things up and getting things in sync, so it took me a little bit longer, but I got it done, and we're going to be heading on to the offseason here momentarily. Kolbert transfer is reasonable. If he did, it would be reasonable, but because he played so much, I doubt the game is actually going to have him transfer away. Now, with that being said, if he transferred away, what would stop Brandon Warren? In that sense, too, neither played like 90% of snaps or anything like that. Thank you for the super chat, Alt. The legend is never late. That's one way to look at it, but I'm not sure anybody's going to be agreeing with you on that one. You should do more commentary games with NCAA football. It was enjoyable. I really like calling neutral games every now and then, just because I don't have to worry about playing at the same time. And I enjoy doing commentary live because I can add as much color commentary as I need to, whereas I'm a bit more constricted in my edited comms where I don't have much time play to play. Live commentaries tend to last longer, so I tend to make those games shorter. But I definitely like commentating, even other football games or whatever. If Warren transferred, there's no backup plan. There's no other idea. Second channel series, NCAA 14. It'll probably happen at some point. I don't know when. I don't know what. I don't know anything about that yet. But I do think that my Browns rebuild formula should be moving to that game at some point. I'm thinking now about Madden 19 and the big series I want to do there. The Browns series has been such a major surprise this year that it's really changed a lot. And we're going to be doing a big series now on the second channel. It might go all Madden, it might not. But that formula is something that I really enjoy. and we're going to be starting up something new, not only on this channel with a big franchise, but also a big rebuild over there in the same idea. Kalispell finishes number 2 in the final poll. Now, I did take a couple weeks off from this series to focus on some other stuff and to give us kind of a real off season. That wasn't part of it, but that's just one of the side effects, I guess. But I already posted the recap video a few weeks back, so if you didn't see that, I'll go through a light recap right now. We all know that Brandon Warren was the star of the offense this year. He played alongside Justin Kolbert and eventually became the full-time starting quarterback. And going into the future, there is no plan for a 2-quarterback system. For the running game, Kyle Thomas was a major surprise to even get this close to 1,000 yards. 6 yards a carry, 5 touchdowns. He proved that he was very dynamic, and so did Marty Belafonte. I was very impressed with Marty because I didn't think his ratings would make him as good as he turned out to be. But his speed and acceleration are both very good, and he became one of our most dynamic threats. Oh, wow. Thank you, Alt, for the super chat. That is very generous of you. Thank you very much. Voice face desync. Is it bad? Because I was running so many tests on this, and I don't think that there's any way I can fix it live. There might be one thing I could do, which would be to turn off webcam and to turn it back on. But even then, I'm not sure if that would fix anything. There's a delay. Okay. There's not much I can fix for it live. So if that didn't fix it, that sucks. Hayden John Charles, 10 touchdowns, 930 yards as your John Mackey Award winner. And then for sacks, 9 for Chris Harrison and 6 interceptions for James Hampton. Of course, a lot of key seniors are moving on from this year, and I thought about waiting to move on to the I forgot about waiting to move on to one second, I'm getting crossed up. I thought about delaying the move to the Pac-12 because I thought that we'd have a lot of transition this year, and we have so many defenders that are moving on, such as Shannon Evans, Malcolm Tyson, James Hampton, that I wondered if we'd really be competitive this next year in the Pac-12. So I thought maybe one more year, play in the Mountain West, and then move. But I mean, we just went undefeated. We just won the Rose Bowl. Am I really going to make the decision based on just like the overall state of the roster when we do have key players like Brandon Warren still coming back and the offense going to, you know, probably be potentially better depending on the offensive line play? So we're moving to the Pac-12. And if it begins like the start of a little new rebuild here in the series because we take a step back and the competition gets so much better, then so be it. All right, we got some more super chats here. I want to thank all of you for the very generous super chats sent. Ryan sends 2. I think you sent 2 on accident here, but I appreciate that. The Rose Bowl may have been your most exciting content to date. You know, sometimes I'm playing here and I'm just like amazed at the games that I get to make an episode out of, and that was one of them. I was getting super hyped up, and there's moments when I'm playing where I literally get out of my seat and I just start like running around and whatnot because things happen. And when Shannon Evans did that, it was incredible. Contract extension. Of course, Leon Daniels gets a contract extension. He's been so good here. One cool thing about this coming season now, here's how time flies. Leon Daniels and the Kalispell Warhawks will have played their 100th game at some point this season. I think it's going to be game 8. Jacob, thank you for the super chat. Marcus Calhoun better make it into Madden 19. He is the captain. Well, he is in Madden 18, so I don't know if I'll put him into 2 Maddens. Not that I wouldn't be able to, but there's other players I might want to get in there, and I have to decide how I exactly want to handle the custom draft feature. We are now a 5-star program. I'm not sure why they go to 6, but you know, they do 6-star systems here in college football. They go by the 20/80 scale in baseball for scouting. I don't understand any of this. 0 to 100. It doesn't get easier than that. It's so simple. We got more super chats coming in here. Thank you, Robert. No message, but I appreciate your super chat. From the UGA Dogs fan here. Do a road to glory of some of your players' senior year of high school. Well, I guess high school would be possible. I see what you're saying here, because there are players in Madden that I love to do like a senior season of in college. But what about a college player's high school season? Because that's how you open road to glory. I never thought about that, but it is something worth exploring. Say, you know, like a Ja'Cory Day series. Somebody maybe we didn't get to play enough with. Okay, I knew I was missing something here. I want to see coaching changes, but I don't think that, okay. I want to see other new signings in the coaching carousel. JT Golden, will we ever see the return of Tank Tucker? Keep up the good work. You know, Tank is a player that I could consider bringing back, but there's one problem with that, and it's that, first of all, his college career is over. And second, I put him into Madden 12, and he went from being like 405 pounds down to like 180. Because, well, here's what I think happens. When a player moves from college to the pros, they gain at least a small amount of weight. And what is end of coach carousel? Okay. So they gain a little bit of weight at the end of their careers, but I basically had Tank maxed out. So what I think happened is that because, say, it couldn't go above 405, that was the max, it went back to the bottom and must have restarted it. So there was no way to basically keep him in the same way. Are we having some issues over here with the stream? A little bit of lag. Let me see if we're dropping any frames here. We have, we've dropped a small amount of frames. Seemed like a small little hiccup here. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'd do Tank. What's more likely would be either Jack Hammer or Phillip Brooks as a little like one-off. Okay, check this out, everybody. Steve Russ, our defensive coordinator that was so good for us and helped us become as dominant as we were. He has left to go to Florida. Wow. So that's another coordinator change that we're going to have to deal with. Not only do we lose so many players, but we lose one of our key coaches. Leon Daniels keeps, keeps in Kalispell here. These are all the new coaches. Mark Owens, wasn't he our coach at one time? I feel like he was. Seeing if there's anything else that I recognize from our team. There's one menu that I just don't know how to find right now that I usually am able to find, but oh well. Cody sends a super chat. I want NCAA 14 so bad. It can be a tough game to find. It's not really on store shelves these days, and when you find it used, it was the last of its kind. Therefore, its value is a lot higher. Just like if you were to buy the latest NCAA basketball game, that is also a more expensive title, and typically you'll find these games in the $30 to $40 range, but that price is probably only going to get higher the harder they get to find. Maryland hired one of your guys, took your OC. The OC who had never had a job before just left. One and done. Oh, look who's here. It's Blackjack21. Dropping the super chat here. Speaking of coordinator changes, Aurora lost their OC to UCLA. Guess who our new OC is? Terry Malone. Wow. There we go. We got universes colliding here. Thank you for the super chat, Blackjack. And another one here from Coriola. Any plans to balance the divisions in the Pac-12? If by balance you mean add another team because we're joining, Possibly. I don't know who I'd want to bring with. They'd have to be someone to go into the Southern Division. I guess an option would be Hawaii, a team we've had a rivalry with in the past. This is the menu I wanted, by the way. So you guys told me Maryland. They got our OC. If I remember correctly, too, Terry Malone was a good coach to have. Yeah, there it is. Paul Graham, new coach. He is actually their head coach. So we lose both of our coordinators to head coaching jobs. I love the coach carousel element to this game, and I really cannot believe they have not put it into Madden because coaches are so important. Like, how many years have we heard how amazing Wade Phillips is at helping defenses reach their potential? All right, players leaving. This is like the biggest drama-filled portion of the episode here, making sure that nothing is having a problem. No drop frames. And we appear to be good to go, everybody. Players leaving. Anybody leaving? We got a transfer. All right. So Chase Rourke wants out of here. Shannon Evans is a projected first-round draft pick. Bryce Wiley a projected 5th. Tyson and Hampton each projected 6th-round selections. I'd say Hampton and his ball skills would make him a little bit better. But I think this is all pretty fair, honestly. I'd say Tyson's a late-round pick because he's oblivious in coverage a lot of times. Wiley, not the strongest tackle, but definitely a good run blocker. I like his athleticism. And then Shannon Evans, I mean, he's a beast. He's got the Harrison Smith skill set that all these graduates, but no major transfers away. We can try to persuade Chase Rourke to stay, but I don't know it's going to work. 3 games. He's transferring, but that's all right. Check your new coaches. I definitely will be because there's a chance that we got some good coaches elsewhere. So why don't I check out my skill trees here? And here's what we got going on. Defensive coordinator is Lorenzo Ward, who's a level 22. Okay, I'm a fan of Lorenzo Ward. Maybe you can tell me where these coaches came from, by the way. He's nearly maxed out. That's fantastic. And then we get Stan McBride. So both of them have experience. I'm really excited that Ward is here because I didn't want our defense to take a major step back. I'm really happy with that. We got to see where they came from. Thank you for the super chat. Spencer just jumped in. What did I miss? Not too much so far. We just have some new coaches is all. So I like to figure out where everybody's from and whatnot. Old coach. Got to go by alphabetical order here. So I got to go to L. Ward. And he was the DC at Mississippi State. So we'll remember that. And for Stan McBride here, got to go all the way down to the S's. Stan McBride was the OC at Utah. Okay. When is Season 8 coming? It'll be this next week. Definitely. So that's where the new coaches came from. Super chat from VDub Productions. This is the first time I've been able to give out a super chat to you. Well, I appreciate you doing that, VDub. I appreciate anybody who even considers leaving a super chat. As a content creator, obviously, you know, this is something I do full time. So the fact that a lot of you want to support financially is incredible. Never feel like you have to or feel like you should for any reason. That's completely up to you. That's something that you should only do it because you feel compelled to or anything. It's really, really kind of you guys to leave those super chats, and regardless of whether you leave super chats or not, like just watching the content, sharing the content, leaving likes, all of that is very helpful. Alt sends another super chat. Don't forget you can reset the tree. We can. I just typically don't. I like to kind of let them have their own personality and not just me redoing everything. And there you go. The projections are pretty much always spot on. Shannon Evans, the first ever first-round draft pick in Kalispell football history. Shannon Evans, first-round pick. Wiley, 5th. Hamp, Tyson, 6th rounders, respectively. Hey, Kay, my friends are like, you're really watching some random dude play a video game, and I'm like, you just don't get it. Entertainment has changed drastically in the last decade. The fact that this is even a thing just blows my mind still. And I've been here kind of at the ground floor of it in a way. I started making content back in 2011, so I wasn't exactly among the first to do it, but I was still there before it really became more of a mainstream thing. You know, if you had told me when I was super young that this would have been, you know, a thing in the future, I wouldn't have even understood it, but I would have been excited. Ace of Games, thank you for the super chat. Hey, Kane, maybe all those 5-star prospects will actually consider Kalispell when you go to the Pac-12. That's one of the motivations, to do new things, to find new players that we've never been able to get before. Definitely 5-stars in the past have given us the cold shoulder. And I think that with the conference prestige and now us winning and having championship potential, I don't see what's really missing from us being able to do some big things in recruiting. Brian Scalabrini, will you make a KJC career in Madden 19? I'm not sure who's going to be my Madden 19 player series yet, but I would love to at least play a season with KJC and continue his legacy. You know, Evans went to Carolina. That wouldn't be a bad fit. And if you threw Shannon Evans on that defense right now, that'd be pretty scary. You'll never get a 5-star. I've already got one, Chris. I got a couple. I got this taken care of. So, as far as recruiting goes, this year, there have been a few interesting players that we've gotten. Maurice Doucette is kind of a backup caliber corner who might be a starter way down the road in his career. A pure cover corner at that with pretty good height. Jaron Williams is an old school linebacker, one of the top in the nation, and he should be into the mix at in a run-stopping capacity. I'm not sure exactly when that would be. Really excited, though, about Johnny Cabral, one of my favorites in this class. Cabral is one of the best athletes I found at guard, and while he's not a great pass blocker, what we do in the running game fits him to a T, and all our zone running concepts are possible because of players with his kind of athleticism. Thomas Roberts. He and Hayden John Charles are going to open up the offense this year to have more 2 tight end sets. Roberts is 6'5", 231, and he brings respectable speed to the table, and I think he and Hayden John Charles are going to be a big problem for the Pac-12 next year, and it could lead to some offensive changes to get more 2 tight end sets. Jaden Jordan is an undersized cornerback, and with him, he's at least a really good tackler, but cover skills aren't really all the way there for him. Maurice Collins. We like to go after these well-rounded defensive ends who might be great after a few years, and Collins fits that mold. We have, kind of average athleticism in some areas, but pretty good block shed, finesse. I feel like in a couple years, he could definitely make an impact. Kyle Malone, a center. Depth along the offensive line is important. He might be a backup caliber player, but you have to have depth no matter what. Thomas Henderson just adds to our tight end depth, but with our tight end situation, he won't play for a long time. Colt Sully. Basically, at this point, Sully is a pure kick returner, not a good route runner, very poor hands. He's a kick returner on a team who just had a freshman All-American at kick returner. So tell me how that's going to go for him. Josh Thomas from Canada. Thomas is a pretty good pass blocker, and I look to him as the replacement for Bryce Wiley. Rick Thomas will be your kicker next year. Really excited to finally go and land a high overall kicker. And finally, Eric Bryant, 6'7", 245 pounds. Bryant, somewhat similar, I'd say, to Collins, but doesn't have both power and finesse in his skill set. Also not very agile, so definitely not as good, but I think that he has a chance to still make an impact. And here's the rest of our board. Really, there's not a lot of excitement from this board because we already gave our best shot at the top prospects who made decisions late in the year. Let me see if I missed any super chats during that long stretch of talking. Any thoughts on what kind of player, career mode, you'll do in Madden 19? Maybe a tight end would be interesting. That's from JT Golden. I thought about going back to defense. Tight end could be fun as well. I really enjoyed playing running back this year, but linebacker could also be exciting if I have a player like Michael Tate from my second channel who can do pretty much everything you ask of a linebacker. Nathan, hey Kane, I've been watching for a while now and continue to enjoy. Thank you for hours upon hours of entertainment. Keep up the good work. I appreciate that, Nathan. And from Rodrigo, Madden 19 team chosen. Also, what are the outs on the Colts? I think you meant to say thoughts, but I got messed up there. I haven't exactly selected the Madden 19 teams yet for my rebuild or my main franchise. I do have it kind of narrowed down to this point between a few I'm considering, but I don't know. I haven't really sat down to break down every team yet, even though the ratings are out at this point. I could do that. We're still a few weeks out from Madden, so I'm in no rush. So we're definitely going to be putting a lot of our points here into Kenny Watkins, just because we all know how important that offensive line depth is. Even if players don't seem like they're going to make an impact, you need to make sure that you don't fall into a situation like what we've seen in the past, where we graduate so many O-linemen and then we just take a major hit in the talent level we're playing. That could happen this year, but I don't think it'll be as bad as it was a couple years back. For Bernard Brown, I see him as a replacement to Terrence McKinley minus the pass catching upside. I'll put a few points into him. I don't expect a ton of interest from Ohio State or Marshall, but it's possible. And I've already kind of cleaned out the possible draft prospects. It was hard to add players down the stretch. Harder than in most years, it seemed. For Doug Bryant, good strength here. I feel like he'll develop into a solid run stopper. So we'll compete with Wyoming and Navy for him. Tyrone Houston. We have a speedy wide receiver right here that can be a field stretcher. Probably a backup at this point, but we need more field stretchers, that's for sure. We see what Carl Joyce can do. What if Carl Joyce got hurt? Austin Jenkins from Boulder, Colorado. Here's an interesting running back. 90 speed, 94 agility, 80 elusiveness. I love that skill set he brings to the table. And I think our running game is definitely favoring players like Jenkins. So let's put at least a couple K into him. Let's go up to 3K. Throw him up to the top of the board here with Watkins. And we still have Eric Bullock, and this one would be more difficult here. Bullock, 79 speed, 78 block shedding. You know, pretty well-rounded. I think that because of the lack of overall interest, I just put like 1,000 on him or so and hope that no one put any points there because they didn't show any interest. And also, I think we have the only scholarship offer. Oh no, USC does. So we do have to at least beat them out. I'll go up to like 13. Might go way higher. We don't really have the best players here available. Oh, I found a 6'6 safety here. Julius Holtz. What does a 6'6 safety bring to the table? I never even scouted him. All right, let's scout him. 80 speed, 70 tackle, 64 hit power, 85 agility. Julius Holtz. Do we think he could play linebacker instead? 80 speed is decent. Block shedding isn't. You have to basically be a run and chase player. Why not throw out a scholarship offer there and like 50 points? See if he commits. I love intriguing athletes. Tyler Adams, a JUCO defensive pass rusher. I was a little disappointed here in the overall skill set. Brian Daly from Connecticut. I don't think we'd put points into him because we're so far behind, but he wouldn't be a bad developmental corner. He does have good press coverage, which is somewhat difficult to find at times. He has 3 offers too, so we'd have to at least get 2K on there, and I just don't feel like that's a good idea. Bill Wade, we'll at least check the ratings on him. Ooh, the speed is just a no-go. And James Smith from Texas. 87 speed, 76 tackle, 70 block shed. I see potential there with James Smith. Let's give him 1,500 at least. We're spreading ourselves pretty thin here, which is a risky approach in off-season recruiting. Go let Holt play D2 basketball. That works for me. The Kalispell basketball team could use some height. A super chat here from Jacob. Yo, Kane, are you a Madden game changer? I am not a game changer with EA Sports. No. Harold, I think you should do a Ja'Cory Day career mode series. You know, that would be so much fun. And it's something that I had thought about a long time ago, just because he's such an exciting player, and who wouldn't want to do a series with a talent like Day? And one more here. Troll King Dance. Remember when you said Robert Woods was a terrible signing for the Rams? I do. Hashtag horns up. Yeah, I was very down on the Robert Woods signing when that happened. I've always thought as Robert Woods being more of a number 3 caliber receiver and not like the number 2 where he got paid. But he was really good last year for LA, and that offense definitely missed him when he did get hurt and wasn't able to keep going. I'm not sure, this year if he'll be more valuable than, say, Cooper Kupp, but I think Woods is a solid receiver now, and maybe he'll enjoy a career similar to Emmanuel Sanders the rest of the way. Let's see. I want to definitely get Houston an offer here just because that role is not really filled on this team as well as I would like. I also want Austin Jenkins already has 3K. Kenny Watkins here. Do we need 35 on him? He's good, but is he that good? I don't think Stanford would put like a ton of points into him. I couldn't see it happening. Got to beat out Notre Dame here for Austin Jenkins. We'll go up to 3150. Still left with 1250 on the table, though. Bernard Brown. Is that really necessary? Probably not at this amount. If we win it, that's cool. But I'm just going to put like 300 into him. Doug Bryant. Nose tackle. Potentially undersized to fill that role. But I like the higher block shed for him. I feel like we don't have enough in our system right now that has that high block shed along the line. So let's go with him. And then Eric Bullock. Maybe he can get some more points. We do got to try and outlast USC. Still a very good amount left. James Smith. Much rangier. I also like his size. 6'4", 247. MrHurriicane, for the Twins franchise, maybe you should create a Ja'Cory Day outfield prospect to replace the disappointing Byron Buxton. Oh man, there's a lot of talk about Buxton in that series, but maybe if I should trade him to get some more pitching help, which, you know, it's something I have to think about and consider as the deadline approaches in there. By the way, the Twins franchise lately, if you haven't been keeping up with it, or if you haven't watched it maybe at all or in a long time, I definitely see if you enjoy the recent episodes, because I changed the formula in that so that we focus on one full game I play entirely, and then a couple minutes at the end talking about a key prospect in our system and how they're doing, where their upside appears, and then, you know, watching a game of theirs being played out. And episodes have been so much fun to make. I've really enjoyed the formula. As much as I enjoyed the more, let's do a full series against a team and then post that, the time it took was just way too much. And then the videos got much longer, and I felt like this formula would be a little bit better, and it's turned out to be my favorite one so far. So we still have 350 points remaining. I just like how well-rounded Bullock is. I think we'll beat UTEP here pretty easily. I want to make sure we beat USC, though. You guys want some new music, I bet. Don't see any comments for it, but I can read your minds. How about the new Bears theme song? A super chat comes in from Sunshine. Bo Lee as Madden 19 franchise coach. Is Bo Lee like the Leon Daniels of this series? What do you drink out of that weird green thing? Oh, this is my water bottle, and it's just filled with water. It's pretty much all I drink. I will have like juice from time to time. I like apple juice. I like Body Armor too. That stuff's pretty good. But mostly it's just water. And this is I don't know why they made it this shape, but it's just an insulated water bottle. I have this because, like, otherwise water gets to room temp way too quickly. And with this, even when I'm like out driving or whatever in like 90-degree weather, you know, 6 hours later, it's still going to be cold. So there's no going back for me now. But yeah, I guess maybe their whole concept here with this water bottle was like, hey, let's make it look a little weird so people ask about it, because you guys ask me all the time about that bottle. I think we're about set. Oh, and your final question was, give Warren full starter spot next year. I've already announced Brandon Warren will be the full-time starter, 100% moving forward. I love how the bottle looks like a vase. Yes, if ever I had some flowers here, I could use it as a vase. But they might get in the way when I decide to drink the water. To signing day we go. But as far as this bottle goes, nothing but water goes into here, because I don't want to have to, you know, clean out whatever is in other drinks, whether it be like sugars or dyes or whatever. I don't want that messing up my bottle. And the other exception I make for drinking is I don't drink soda often. I drink soda a few times a year, and the only soda that I drink is either root beer or cream soda. And it needs to be like something good, like a place that makes their own or whatever, or some local brand that's better than most of the larger brands. So we got plenty of commits here. Tyrone Houston, Austin Jenkins, I'm happy about that. Tyler Adams, Kenny Watkins, that's surprising they didn't pick us. Julius Holtz goes to UNLV. So might not be a huge recruiting class this year for Kalispell. A Alt sends another super chat. What happened to the energy drink you used to drink? I used to drink G Fuel quite a bit, actually. I haven't done anything with them in a few years. I just started drinking water full time. Didn't think I needed it. And, yeah. Not really missing it. All right, Eric Bullock. He's just gonna go do something else, I guess. I never understand when they don't pick a team here. But Kenny Watkins out to Stanford by 470. Ohio State lands Bernard Brown. Doug Bryant to Navy by 115. We do get the speedy Tyrone Houston by 500. James Smith to the Miners. Bill Wade. He's going to ULM. Brian Daly to Oklahoma. Tyler Adams selects us. Julius Holtz to UNLV by 180 points. We get Austin Jenkins, though. Notre Dame didn't even try. Eric Bryant and the rest of our players there. I've never heard of Stewart's Root Beer. No, I'm not familiar with that one. Let's take a look at our overall class, though, and where we rank. We had the 45th ranked class, which, that's respectable, honestly. That's a good class. Doucette and Jenkins, along with Jaron Williams, were our only 4-star prospects, but I think of Maurice Collins as a 4 because he was underrated and undervalued. Overall, pretty happy with things, although it would have been nice to land one of those top players I chased for such a long time. The best class this year, that would be Texas and Penn State. Kind of on a... Well, actually, that's total. But, Texas has 5 5-stars, so let's give them the edge there. Texas. One of the top... 2 of the top athletes, one of the top receivers, a top running back, and a top tight end. So... You know what? I want to check out the Longhorn offense after this. I just want to know what it looks like. Jacob, thank you for the super chat. Trade Buxton for a center fielder prospect with speed and contact plus catcher prospect. 28-year-old rookies are overrated. Hey, I'm enjoying the Mitch Garver season we're having in that series. So you want me to trade Buxton essentially for like Malik Smith from the Rays and a catcher. Might be able to do something like that. I just wonder why he slumps so much, because I feel like I get some good swings with him. The timing anyway, what I can control. But his contact, it's always like a pitch right over the middle. I swing with good timing and we get like a 2-hopper to short. And it's like, you can't even put it on the ground in a way where you can reach base? It's so frustrating. A lot of you are excited about Texas. We want Texas. Be careful what you wish for, Frankfurt. Are there any freshmen that could start? Besides the kicker, Rick Thomas, I'd say potentially the top offensive lineman we got here. His name is already slipping my mind right now. Who is your favorite Kalispell player ever? Probably Marcus Calhoun. Either him or Ja'Cory Day. So, position changes. I don't feel like there's anything to do here besides maybe evening out a couple places. We're moving Dustin Payment to receiver just because of that one play. He has 62 catching. So, I didn't have him out there thinking like, hey, he can play receiver potentially. It was more so, he's just our wildcat quarterback. I knew he had some speed, so I'm like, let's take a chance. Cool stuff happens. Here are all the receivers now. Lance Rodriguez, I think he's a walk-on. 65 overall, 86 speed. What do you bring to the table here, Lance? Catching is terrible. Route running is acceptable, though. As far as speed goes, there you see. That's why Tyrone Houston was quite important. We just didn't have another downfield threat quite like Carl Joyce. Even consider that Justin Payne is an 89, but his agility is way lower, his acceleration is way lower. So Houston is now the backup to Joyce. And he could play as a freshman, potentially. Did he get Jenkins? I did get Jenkins, Blackjack. Austin Jenkins. Really excited to see how he fits into this offense. He has the best agility. He has middle of the road here elusiveness for our team. Kyle Thomas is so good there. He has a couple good moves, good ball security, good hands, and potential for trick plays. Always a plus in our offense. Where did Joaquin Ferreira sign? I think that was UCLA, but I am not 100% sure right now. At tight end, Hayden John Charles and Thomas Roberts. We've never had a tight end depth chart this large before. It was always like 2 or 3 in the past, and now we finally have like players we can redshirt and not just play right away. Josh Thomas at left tackle, Rodney Hall. We have 3 centers, 2 right guards, and Noah Manuwai. So it's definitely a step back here in offensive line. Keep in mind, we've gotten a little unlucky with transfers. There was a big one a couple years ago with Clay Hutchinson, and he was one I was counting on. Chris Harrison here at end. Let's move Mo Collins to the other side if it doesn't mess up his awareness. Defensive tackle is good to go. At linebacker, we have so many options here. Of course, we do lose Anthony Owens. Still have Alex Hardy. Cornerback is going to be way different with Michael Hunter out there. Oscar Bryant. Juno Springs will play this year. Justin Garcia. How I handle the secondary is going to be one of my biggest challenges of this season. And I think that moving Glenn Hayes the corner might be necessary. Corner is much more important than safety. And Hayes is really good as a safety, but I think we need him at corner this year. That could put Jamari Akinjide out there at strong safety. Hayes becomes the top corner. Maybe even a nickel. I can make him a formation sub nickel. Kind of play that Chris Harris type of role. Super chat here from Jacob again. Sign yourself an Iron Man athlete to play offense and defense. I have one actually that might do that. Tommy Jordan. I thought about playing him at wide receiver last year. Because we just didn't have much there. He has 90 speed, 84 acceleration. He does have pretty good coverage ratings too, with 74 catching. So there's a chance this year, especially if he doesn't start, that I could find a few different ways to play Tommy Jordan. And I think that because he probably won't play safety this year, his overall really does drop at corner. He still might play some cornerback this season. Would you offer 3 draft picks in Buxton for Aaron Judge? Probably. Don't forget to change Hayes' awareness back. It was a 92 or 93 before upgrades. Thank you for pointing that out. He's an athlete, so I don't want to just let his awareness bottom out like that. It was a 92 or 93. I can verify for sure later on. But let's move on to the next stage. Training results. Give Michael Hunter a new number. I think I will. 49 for a corner doesn't exactly work. Don't forget the athletes. We don't have any this year. So I wonder if Tommy Jordan's overall was going to go down because of awareness. In that case, like I just keep his awareness the same and play him wherever I feel like it. All right, everybody, training results. Justin Kolbert is a 98 overall quarterback right now. That's unbelievable. And it's a shame that, he's not a starter somewhere. I would not have been angry if he transferred away. Brandon Warren also gets the +6 treatment. So does Terrence McKinley, Andy Kolbert. This is all fantastic. So for Hayes, I need to remember to give his awareness a +6, which essentially makes him a 99 awareness. Where is Machado going? Manny Machado? I'm guessing probably the Yankees, but I'd much rather see him go somewhere else, like the Brewers. The Brewers team's kind of fun. All right, Brandon Warren got even faster this offseason. I want to see where his accuracy went, though. As far as throwing, +1 throw power, +4 throw accuracy. That'll help a lot. Excellent. For running back, Terrence McKinley is up to a 90 overall now, and Kyle Thomas gets the +5. Belafonte a +5 as well. Elusiveness for Kyle Thomas jumps up to 96. At fullback, Bo Lee, 80 speed, 96 awareness, 89 break tackle, 75 trucking. This is going to be Bo Lee's last season. Pretty much every team always has that guy where you're like, he's still here. And I've seen some of you say that for Bo Lee, and I find that hilarious. Kane, the Twins should sign Josh Hader. How are they going to sign Josh Hader? Isn't he like really young in his career? I mean, if the Twins got Josh Hader, I would be ecstatic. Because his game is a flamethrower, man. His stuff is filthy. But they're not getting Josh Hader. All caught up here on Super Chats. Awesome. Gotta keep looking back here at the comments. Kane, you should cut Kolbert in the cutting stage and recreate him at another team as a pseudo transfer. Interesting idea there, to give Kolbert a shot somewhere else. Huh. Yeah, if the sync is off, the best I can do is reset the webcam here in case like it, maybe it lagged internally for a few milliseconds. So I can kind of refresh it like that, but I'm not sure there's a whole lot I can do to fix it. But I haven't seen many of you complain about it, so we must be still doing pretty good. What is your opinion on the Orioles' pathetic season so far? I really feel bad for the Orioles and their fans. That team is exceptionally bad. And they're at really the forefront of a rebuilding process. They're at the point right now where there really isn't a reason to be excited yet for the future. There isn't that one player or set of players like the White Sox have had. At least we got Moncada coming up. You don't know who that guy is yet until Manny Machado gets traded. So that's kind of when things start to have a chance for a future. They're probably going to get rid of Machado, maybe Adam Jones. Like, who do they have moving into the future? Like, Trey Mancini? Chance Cisco? I don't even know what their future could be. So, Rodney Hall becomes an 81 overall as a sophomore. Kolbert a 90. Westergren an 80. Mike Hill an 82. It's our tackles that are going to be weaker. Sunshine, thank you. Happy 17th season to Bo Lee. I love it. Gotta love the blue shirt. Exactly, Daniel. I got so many that look like this. I find new ones at the store and I'm like, yeah, I don't have that brand yet. Chris Harrison now an 89 overall. Could be a nice year for him as a senior. Let's see those ratings. Yeah, very good across the board here. Harrison has a chance to do some damage. And then Marion Triplett. I know he's one of Blackjack's favorites. Triplett, is this the big year for him? I want to see someone break out on this team to have like that, 12 sack season. Something dominant. I think Triplett or Harrison could do that. Thank you for the super chat. Krish, do you think that Machado will go to the Yankees? I think that they have some of the most to offer with their farm system, so for that reason, I'd say so. Also, like, you don't typically trade to your division rivals. Baseball's different, but also they'd have to re-sign him, wouldn't they? And they've already had the huge contract given out to, like, Stanton. They know that Judge is going to be somebody in a handful of years, so can they really pay Manny Machado? Would they pay Manny Machado? Is there a chance they trade for Machado, try to win a championship, and he goes elsewhere in the offseason? That'd be a good route for the Orioles. Bobby Hill, 94 power, 93 finesse. Let's see if Bobby Hill can make some noise this year. And then Boogie Turner. He improved considerably throughout the season. I really am excited about Turner as a full-time starter and Bobby Hill. Well, linebacker, we got Townsend, Graves, Brandon Williams. A lot of good athletes out here. Merrill, Hardy, Bozeman, Campbell. There's a chance that your 3 starters are all these players right here. Hashtag free Kolbert from Rion. Thank you. It's something I'll definitely have to consider. Especially considering we still have Roshan Phillips as a backup. I feel like I probably won't do it here during the stream. But I'll give it some thought. And I kind of like the idea of giving Kolbert a chance somewhere else. If I can really recreate him in that way. Oh, guess what? The cashews are here and I have excellent news. They now sell them in an even larger container. I'm ecstatic about it. This is my first time with the large container. This is a pretty special moment right here for me. Michael Hunter, 87 overall. Now, Hazel will go up to a higher overall once I boost up his overall. So, keep in mind, probably going to be a 90-something. Then there's Oscar Bryant. So we still have 3 corners who are 84 plus. The sky is not falling in that regard then. Also, they could all play some emergency receiver potentially with these route running skills. And all 3 of our top corners here, 90 plus man, 90 plus zone. So that's not a major step back. Hello, Shannon Evans, though, we're not replacing that dude. He's good. He's elite. Chris Baker, Tommy Jordan. Bobby Hill, that boy ain't right. I know, there's something about Bobby. There's something wrong with Bobby out here. Thank you, cool dude. I haven't seen King of the Hill. I'm looking for a paper towel. I ain't got one. I haven't seen King of the Hill in probably at least 10, 12 years. Pretty good cover skills here, but definitely no Shannon Evans. And then, do we see Jamari Akinjide play as a redshirt freshman from Oakland, California? Jamari, 74 tackling, 83 hit power. Coverage is decent. There's a good chance he sees the field. We're dropping some frames here. Better not. We dropped a handful. We're not dropping much at a time. I guess there's like a spike or something. Jordan back to wide receiver. Jordan to strong safety. Now it's time to cut somebody. Maybe. How much for the cashews? Like for me to sell them to you? Or to buy them? These run me about $5. Which is a pretty good price for cashews. I buy my cashews at Aldi. So if you have an Aldi grocery store near you, that's where I like to get my cashews here. Hashtag not sponsored. We have to cut nobody. So it's completely optional. One option could be to transfer Kolbert for his senior year somewhere else. Get this man a cashew sponsor. I would love a cashew sponsor. Also a water sponsor. That's the most weird things. And a blue shirt sponsor. I like to open up maybe one spot here. Kane really the type of guy to get hype over cashews. That's a fact. Like I said last year, there was a time when it was on recall because there was glass in it. And it took them months to get them back on the shelves. Here we go. Derek Johnson, number 0. Before you guys can get excited. Darn it. That sucks. Here we go again. Brian Rice. I don't recognize Brian Rice. 88 speed, 54 awareness. .66 tackling is not bad for a corner. Can he cover? I can't cut Brian Rice. I like him too much. Aha, Ben Burgess. 80 speed. 6 foot. No coverage. I forgot about Craig Arnold. I'm not even sure I've seen him before. Who's Craig Arnold, honestly? All right, we're hoping for a transfer potentially. There's one roster spot open, so if anyone wants to be the first player to ever transfer to Kalispell, not from the JUCOs, there's your opportunity. And cashews are on point today. When you do the schedule, please schedule Penn State again. That is possible. A rematch. Uh-oh. RIP. OBS. Reconnection successful, it says. Did we do it? Are we back in action? We're not dropping frames. My connection says stable. Says we're good. Just need to know if that's actually the life on YouTube right now. Everyone refresh. You know what? I'm even going to take your advice. I'm taking your advice of refreshing. I think it's working. I'm not sure if it's working well, but here we are. Also, your face cam is better now. Fantastic. All right. Custom conferences. We are making a change this year, everybody. Can't wait. Kalispell is exiting the Mountain West Conference. I'm making sure it's caught up here. Renew the Idaho rivalry? Possibly. I know that we're definitely a different team at this stage of the game. Removing Kalispell. Not going far. Right here to the Pac-12 North. Kalispell joins the likes of Cal, Oregon, Oregon State, Stanford, Washington, and Washington State. Now, conference rules. I can't do protected rivals because it's imbalanced, correct? I would have to bring a team with me. Why are we talking about Clay Stites pick sixes? Give me a little break, please. And if we want to add someone to the south, maybe we bring Hawaii or one of these two. I think these ones make the most sense. UNLV could, but they're not exactly that type of caliber team. Hawaii is not bad. What about Hawaii to the Pac-12 South? Do we like that one? I was just intrigued by the text I can bring on screen there. Continue the rivalry with Hawaii. I like it. Plus, if we do that, then we don't have to make them a non-conference game. It doesn't really impact our schedule. I can still pick 3 teams every year to play that are different. However, oh, they made KC versus Hawaii a protected game. I love to play against Heikkinen. The Pac-14, let's do it. A super chat coming in from 27 Super Yankees. Derek Johnson still better than Eric Flowers. Not far. Coriola changed championship game to Fight Hunger Bowl. Is there any specific reason? I'm not sure I could record this stuff in 60 frames per second. I love to play and record stuff in 60 FPS, but that would double up all my file sizes. It would double up render times, upload times, essentially, and right now I'm just not there. Oh, that's where it is IRL, the conference game? Thank you. It's Levi's Stadium. That's where they play the conference championship. Is that in this game? I forget how old Levi's Stadium is. Yeah, that's in San Francisco. Isn't that stadium in Santa Clara? Coriola Fight Hunger is real life championship location. Thank you. I did not know that. I kind of liked having home games for conference titles, but that's all right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure in the Minnesota Dynasty we played them all in Indy at Lucas Oil. So it was only this series I got to host those conference championships. Oh, the actual stadium isn't in here? This is close enough. I like the call there, everybody. It's Candlestick Park. Okay, I like Candlestick Park. It works for me. Change music. Thank you. I feel like I was going to and then got sidetracked. Bo Lee, Road to Glory. A little bit of quarterback, little fullback, little special teams, little running back, tight end. I think that's all the stuff I want to do for this year in the conferences. Make sure to keep Oregon and Oregon State rivals. I can go back and check that out. I can't make my stadium bigger, Daniel. Basically, my team is what they are. I can't like change uniforms. I can't change where we play or what type of building it is. We don't care about this conference anymore. Oregon and Arizona is protected. Oh, wait. OSU and Oregon don't have to be protected. They're in the same division, so they play every year regardless. Protected rivals is all about opposite divisions. So you rotate every other year. Change week of starting conference games to week 4 so you can play non-conference games first. Yeah, I thought about that once. Why don't I go back into that menu and do that? Especially with this year being our first year in the Pac-12, I'd kind of like, you know, a chance to get ready. I like my warm-up games. Stanford USC protected. Why don't I just go right back into that one then? I'm not sure I can do all the protections though. Stanford versus Colorado. That one doesn't seem necessary, honestly. Stanford USC. Is there anything else that's a problem here? I feel like Washington and Colorado. Is that really a rivalry? What are they going to fight over? What happened to Jabril Peppers in the Browns rebuild? I moved him to running back, and eventually he just became a free agent and disappeared. Washington and USC. What happened to USC 2-10? I don't know. We will find out what these teams look like now. So as of right now, we have Cal and UCLA. That seems reasonable. Oregon and Arizona, sure. Oregon State, ASU, sure. Stanford, USC. Washington, Colorado. Don't understand that one. Washington State and Utah. Whatever. And then KC and Hawaii. I think we're okay. I think I'm finally ready to move on. The cashews are good, but I can't eat them all day. I'm very excited about this team. And the switch to the Pac-12. Just the new challenge we're going to have. Trying to maintain this level of success in a much tougher conference. Much higher talent level from a game-to-game basis. Yeah, I guess Washington and Colorado could fight over that, Hayden. I guess we're on to the preseason. Did Heikkinen go pro? Forgot to check Oxendine. Someone told me in the comments. Forgot. I was so focused on our team, I forgot to check who went pro. Where they went drafted. There's one thing I can do, though. I have a file for last season. Still. I can take that file, make a dummy file, and simulate to that point, because I'm sure it's all the same, and see where Oxendine went. How'd I mess that up? How does Pac-12 stack up compared to Mountain West in terms of quality of competition? I'd say it's significantly higher. A lot more players in the 90s for overall, not many players below 80s for overall. We come into this year ranked number 15. That's a pretty steep fall, but we did lose a lot of great players. Here's our team right now. Marion Triplett, Brandon Warren, Terrence McKinley, Andy Kolbert, Justin Kolbert there as well. Let's get to know some of our new conference rivals, like Arizona. Brian Henderson is their quarterback. Henderson, 31 touchdowns, 12 picks a year ago. Pretty good speed for him. Wow. If we play them, the similarities between him and Warren can make for a really fun game. Two really good centers, a great guard. Awesome. I want to see who they're going to have us play this year. I can set my non-conference rivals opponents this year, but I can't choose what opposite division teams we play. Please have UCLA on our schedule. We have like a 50-50 shot of that being true. And, is it my lucky day? Nope. Nope. Could I schedule them anyway? Not there. So we're not going to play UCLA in the regular season. We're going to play ASU as our first game in the conference. Then Stanford, Arizona, Wazoo, Oregon, Washington, the Beavers, Hawaii way late in the season, and Cal. I could regenerate it. Oh, that's all non-conference stuff. Now I hope Heikkinen did get drafted. Yeah, I wouldn't be too upset about that, but I doubt it. Players don't leave early very often in this series or this thing. You can reset it. All right, let me try to reset it. If it changes up the order too, that'd be cool. The one thing I didn't like about this series so far is that like our schedule stayed too static. We always played like the same teams in a row in the same order. Let's regenerate the schedule. It's gonna update it. And now it didn't seem to change anything. I don't know what use known games means. Let's regenerate it again. It's a feature I've never used before. And it didn't change anything. So, that's how it is. Stagnant schedule is because of protected rivalries. Okay. Okay. Anyway, let's get some more familiarity with our opponents this year. Our first game in the Pac-12 will be against Arizona State. So they are A pretty good team. Spencer Evans here is their quarterback. Another thing that's different about these teams compared to Mountain West teams is we're going to see a lot better quarterback play. So this is going to be what we're facing on a pretty much a weekly basis, unless the team has like a freshman. Neil Roberts, Mark Harrell, Xavier Powell. L1, not R1. I don't know if that's going to do it. I can give it a shot. Custom schedules. It didn't change anything. It just resets the changes that I make if I screw around with it. No difference. I'm not sure how that became a popular comment. I didn't think that was going to work. I've hit reset before. Thank you for the super chat, Gage. Just joined. Glad to see you move to Pac-12. Keep up the good work, Hurricane. I appreciate that, Gage. Much appreciated. Let's continue to learn more about our opponents this year. Stanford is going to be one of the big teams that we're going to face. They're very early on in our schedule. And Stanford, as you would expect, has a lot of players here in the 90s for overall. Brody Campbell at tailback. A lot of good wide receivers down the board, too, that you're going to see. They have Mark Rouse and Michael Coe, and Brian Campbell. We got some great speed here. Quarterback is Scott Andrews, a pocket passer from East Los Angeles, who's played very little in his career. All right. I keep backing out. I don't know why. I need to see if Heikkinen left UCLA, which I doubt he did. First up, Washington. Paul Coley at quarterback. Larry Golden at linebacker, number 4. Blackjack would love that. They gave him a unique number. Antone Davis at running back. This is really going to be a challenging year. Reno Springs, the top player for Washington State. We had recruited him many moons ago. Check Texas. Oh, we'll check Texas. Don't you worry. Let's go UCLA, though. Jesse Heikkinen is giving it one more go. That's a very stacked team. And Texas. Oh, wow. This team, Rodney Griffith, a great receiver. 6'4", 217, 93 speed. Jonathan Jenkins, Larry Smith, Brett Johnson. I want to see the new players they got, though. I wish I could sort by, like, year. I want to find their true freshmen. Well, here's the tight end they got. Kyle Jones. Decent all around. Not exactly going to blow you away. And they got one of the top... They got a couple top athletes. I forgot their names, so it's hard to figure out where they are. Stephen London here, a 98 speed corner who's 81 overall. I'll just have to go down a little ways here. David Covington at running back, 84 speed, 90 trucking. I love to play with a player like that. That'd be so much fun. Yeah, this team seems quite stacked. How long do you think this series will go and play Wyoming? By the way, I live in Wyoming. It's awesome. Not really. Yeah, places like Wyoming aren't going to be for everybody. Depends how much you enjoy, you know, the outdoors, and if you like living in like a less densely populated area. I know I probably wouldn't like it too much out there, just because my preferred climate is just like, let's move to Hawaii, and I'm good. So I'm not going to worry too much about schedules and depth charts and everything in here. Now is what the time where we get to practice. So what I want to do first is just move Glenn Hayes' awareness. I think at this point it should be like a 99. Remember, I moved him earlier from safety and it just drops his awareness because he moved a new position. I'm going to give him 99 and see what it was before. It was either a 92 or a 93, and he got +6 during the offseason. So let's call him 99 there. 89 overall corner. Yeah, I do want to do more out-of-positional numbers, more unique stuff, and less like the NFL. Michael Hunter, not going to wear 49, that's for sure. Why don't we give Michael Hunter 19? That's out of position. That's different. And if there's anyone new that I want to edit, Rick Thomas, I don't want to give him 18. Maybe something in the 90s for Rick Thomas. Let's give our kicker 97. As in the percentage of kicks I expect him to make throughout his career. Oh, good idea, Alt. Sends a super chat saying, go route Hayes versus Joyce. We got to see that for sure. Glenn Hayes, Carl Joyce. Two pretty speedy players. That could be a fun matchup. I'll do more editing later. I want to get into the gameplay here. About an hour and a half into the live stream. Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe icon and also the bell next to it. If you hit that, you'll get notifications when I post new videos. Now, I know a lot of us get annoyed by notifications, so if you don't want it, that's cool. But if you do want to know exactly when new videos are posted, hit the bell for notifications. And also leave a like. Those are very helpful to the channel. Likes are just a part of the algorithm that, you know, leads to others finding the channel through suggested videos or recommended, so they can enjoy the content as well. So that's just one way to show your support if you're enjoying the content here. Let me go to formation subs quick and reset them, because sometimes when I do formation subs, they end up causing a bug that when I go into practice mode, it won't load all the way. And I found out that I could fix that by resetting formation subs, and that was an issue for me a year ago, mid-season. So I'm going to reset them, and then we're going to jump into practice. Check out NC State after the national championship. I'll give their team a quick look. I really enjoyed that national championship episode, and I think that if we don't make national championships, that I should continue to do that, because I think the neutral stuff can still be exciting when we know something about those teams, or we just want to add context to everything. That video was much better received than I had expected. I thought that maybe a lot of you wouldn't be interested because it didn't have anything to do with Kalispell, but it did really well. A lot of you wanted me to continue doing it. Overall, this team isn't, I would say, stacked. Maybe they lost a lot. They're stacked at quarterback and corner. But overall, this team doesn't seem like a national championship caliber team again. I mean, Texas is the team I'd be scared of right now. Is there a preseason rankings, by the way? I'd love to see that, but maybe it's a little bit too early. I have to go to the next stage, probably. I know we're 15th is all. Let's practice. When will week 1 be up? Well, I'm gonna do another stream, probably Monday or Tuesday, with more practice here. I always do a separate practice stream. That's become a tradition of sorts. And then after that, it'll be week 1. I also have to do the edited off-season video, which I will look to post on Monday afternoon. So I'd say realistically Wednesday, Thursday at the earliest in that window. Kane play Fortnite. I suggested that on my second channel and was met with harsh opposition. They did not want to see Fortnite. And I was like, yeah, you're probably right. I'm not very good at the game. I don't think that it would honestly be all that entertaining. I don't play Fortnite anyway. I don't play the game. I think last time I played was a few weeks ago, and I couldn't get a kill in the 3 matches I played, and I haven't played since. I'm not posting twins today, no. I'll probably record twins either tonight or tomorrow, though. Let's get KT out there. So, let's give a player a chance here. I'm thinking let's give Tyrone Houston a chance to make some plays today. And also we're going to see some Antoine Knightley. Knightley is a freshman receiver. I probably got to change his number. Haven't taken too much of a look there. So the reason why I'm going to do another practice stream is, 1, they're fun. 2, it gives me a chance to move a couple things around and maybe to add plays to the playbook and then show you what things are going to look like. Because there's definitely some 2 tight end stuff that I need that I don't have right now. Harold Kaufman sends a super chat. Will Matt Pierre break single season rushing record? Well, if you want to know, you can find out on my channel later today. MrHurriicane LP. Rodney Hall, Andy Kolbert, Mike Hill, Noah Manuwai, Josh Thomas, Chris Harrison, Marion Triplett, Hill, Turner, Townsend, Hardy. We'll put Wesley Merrill out there. All right, let's give it a shot. Let's see what this team is all about. Thanks for stopping in, Garrett, and spending some time with us. Isn't Antoine supposed to have the nickname AK-47? Probably. I'm pretty sure Blackjack even called him that during the recruiting video, if I'm not mistaken. I've been wrong before, but not recently. Yeah, I like this formation here a lot. I wish they had my defensive playbook out there for the defense, though. That's the one thing I don't understand. It's only like the defensive playbook if I, like the blue jersey team, have are out on defense. So I can't run against the defense we're actually going to play, which is disappointing. Let's back up a little bit here. We gotta show off Warren's arm at some point, right? Brandon Warren rolling outside. Whoa! Okay, I guess we're not going outside. Mario Townsend has a chance to get some more snaps this year. He played sparingly a year ago, but definitely made an impact when he did. Throwing a little bit behind Mike Harris right there. Kyle Thomas on the sweep. Oh my. That's Glenn Hayes laying the hit. They're not giving me a chance to do much right now. I'm getting tripped up in the backfield. I'm not getting much room to do anything. Our defense always shines in these practices. Oh, I forgot it was an option play. I just want to test out the accuracy of Warren and whatnot, and this defense is giving me nothing to work with. Who do I think will win the 2018 World Series? I hate to say it, but maybe the Yankees. I definitely wouldn't be cheering for that to happen. No offense, 27 Super Yankees. Although the upside is... What's that? The upside is if they win the World Series, then 27 Super Yankees has an outdated account and has to make a new one. Man, this team is ruthless on defense today. Do I follow Flemlo's channel? I wouldn't say I follow it super close, but I've watched a lot of his content and I really like it. A lot of those videos are super informative and they're done really well, so it's no surprise that his channel has grown tremendously through that style. Here's Warren effortlessly throwing it downfield off the wrist of Hayden John Charles. There we go. Antoine Knightley is out there. Oh, he's wide open here. 2 deep safeties against 3 deep receivers. Easy win. Ooh, gotta make the catch though, Antoine. Warren chucks it deep again, this time for Carl Joyce, and he makes the grab. So if they ever call one-on-one coverage here, which they do on this play, we got Joyce versus Hayes. Joyce wins! Unbelievable. Here we go again. 1 apiece. 1-1. Has to be no safety help. Oh, Glenn Hayes with the INT. What we say we go best of 7 right here, okay? It's 2-1 in favor of Glenn Hayes. This one's not going to count. They're playing cover 2. Got to be deep shots. Single coverage. 2-1 Hayes. Now Warren heaves it deep again. Caught by Hayes. It's 3-1. Glenn Hayes now. It's match point as we heave it downfield again. Oh, Joyce wrestles it away. It's 3-2. Joyce trying to pull the LeBron right now on Glenn Hayes. Golden State Glenn Hayes and LeBron James Joyce That's who we got right here. And my audibles are terrible. Let's just call a run play. This is our little breather. All right. 3-2. Warren deep again. Joyce has a step. No! Hayes wins it. 4-2. There you go. Did I make that dramatic enough? That was my whole goal. I like... One thing that I feel like I'm pretty good at is making a big deal out of stuff that isn't a big deal. Which I guess is somewhat valuable. Were you on the edge of your seat right there? Was that riveting? Oh man, he covers the curl. Oh, Joyce got that one. Series is over though. These are just for fun. The deep comeback versus Hayes. That wasn't man coverage. I need it in man coverage. Well, this is definitely another cover 3 shell. Or maybe not. No, that was man to man. He had him the whole way. See, in zone, when you call a curl or a comeback, they're going to give up the underneath. More so than in man coverage. Now, in man coverage, they're also sometimes terrible. But definitely in zone, they'll play it safe. Deep shot. Ooh. This is becoming the rest of the stream, I think. Couple overthrows in there, too. I want to see what our view count is looking like right now. We are at 524. Still watching the stream. Thank you all for tuning in and spending some time with me. I appreciate it. I know it's Saturday here during the summer, so these weekends are quite valuable, especially if you live in the north where the summers aren't quite long enough. Maybe some of you are down in Texas and you're like, no, I'd rather be in front of this screen than anywhere else. Ooh, Carl Joyce is nice. That's just the best way to put him. He's nice. Which NFL team do you think will be surprising for the up-and-coming season? As far as a positive surprise goes, I would have to say that the Chicago Bears, with all their changes, they have a chance to be that team this year. But I don't know if their improvements are going to lead to a lot more victories. That's the only problem. They play some good teams in their division, and you got to consider that Trubisky is still very young. They added a bunch of new players, so there's going to be, you know, some time for those players to gain their chemistry. You saw what happens when everything comes together in these situations last year with the Rams. And that's who the Bears are going to be compared to quite often this year, especially if they start out even with just a couple victories early on. They're going to have constant comparisons to, you know, what Jared Goff and Sean McVay did, getting Robert Woods and Sammy Watkins, Cooper Kupp. They completely retooled that offense. Andrew Whitworth. Bears got some players on defense, though. That's for sure. That team, like, they have the players in place right now to be a more complete team. It's just all about if it all works out like we think it's going to. Evan, thank you for the super chats. I appreciate it. Oh, against Jamari Akinjide here. That's a tough play. Trying to fit this one in. And we're doing it to perfection right here, Brandon. Ooh, close one. Got to work on the lateral game, though, Carl. All right, so leave suggestions for what I should be trying to do here in practice. I'm sure that you like to see something more than me run around and making incredible plays like this. That's a second drop now for Knightley. I think I want to get Houston out there. Challenge the safeties. Yeah, we have 2 brand new safeties. I do need to challenge them. And that's what I did a little bit on those. I was trying to like hit that hole in the cover 2 that is difficult to do at times. And just seeing if Akinjide would get over. Oh, there's Tyrone Houston. Oh, man. Some of these linebackers are too hard to escape. They're fast. Look at that throw. That's not a throw I expect Warren to actually make. But he does have some higher accuracy this year, so that helps. Can I get some bold predictions here for NFL season upcoming? Anyone got anything cool they think can happen? Any lofty expectations? I'm kind of getting back into NFL mode here, like reading up on teams, watching what I can find of some other players that I just want to know more about going into the season. The other day, I sat down and watched pretty much everything of Ricki Seals-Jones this past season, which there wasn't like a ton to watch. She only had like 11 catches. But just little things like that, trying to get more familiar and ready for fantasy football season and whatnot. Super chat here. Whoa, message deleted. I saw someone say this was A Alt, who sent another super chat. Thank you very much. I'm not sure what happened though to the message. A Alt, I really appreciate that. Seals-Jones is going to be a beast. Yeah, I see the potential there. I just don't know if I see like Jordan Reed, Travis Kelce potential. I do like that they'll detach him though and play him out at wide receiver. Definitely, you know, a really good athlete. I think he played receiver at Texas A&M and then dropped 20 pounds or whatever the story was there. Not sure if I'm getting him mixed up with somebody else. Wait, no, I'm definitely getting him mixed up now with that guy who transferred to Baylor, who dropped like 20 pounds to play receiver. I was reading about that. But Ricki Seals-Jones, definitely your modern day tight end. But from what I was, you know, in the commentary, they were really praising his blocking. I didn't really watch him block much. The one play I did, it was a penalty. So I don't really know how his blocking is, but if it's at all like even average, that really elevates his value. Also in fantasy, because like then there's less reasons to take him off the field. You say like Jermaine Gresham's a better blocker, but if Seals-Jones can hold his own, that limits how much Gresham can take away, period. Got to think about those handcuffs on fantasy football. Jalen Hurd is the wide receiver that dropped 20 pounds. Yeah. I never heard of him. I don't follow a lot of college football. I'm going to try to this season. Like, I'm looking forward to it. I want to watch some more games. He was Tennessee running back. And now he's going out to Baylor for a team, obviously, that went 1-11 a year ago. Derek Carr or Dak Prescott? Ooh. If I had to guess who had the better, like, 5-year outlook... Man. Here's the thing. I think that, like, in recent history, I think Prescott's been better. Look at Carl Joyce. Oh, my goodness. Just incredible play out of Joyce today in the stream. I think I'd go Prescott but not by much. My opinion of Carr has dropped in the past couple of years. incredible here. I'm just getting some possible thumbnail options here. You know how it is, life as a YouTuber. Sometimes camera gets glitched and you gotta back out and go back in. I'll just give myself a few options here for what I want to use in the edited off season. I'm going to change a song here in a moment too. That's a pretty cool clip. Carl Joyce, man. His play has just been outstanding. I bet my... Oh no, I'm capturing this outside of the stream, so this is going to be perfect. No worries there. With Jason Witten retired and Des Bryant gone, who becomes the primary receiver for Dak Prescott in the upcoming season? Man, I don't really know what they're going to do. I was kind of shocked they didn't get Calvin Ridley because I thought that he was the type of receiver that would elevate Dak Prescott more so than somebody else. But I think Michael Gallup also kind of, you know, I think he does some of the same things well that Ridley does, but not to the same level. So I think Gallup made sense. I never thought that Cortland Sutton made a ton of sense, but he actually isn't a bad route runner, so it wouldn't have been terrible. But overall, I don't know. I think Allen Hurns could be that guy. I think it could become Michael Gallup after some time. Who are the receivers right now? Isn't it like Gallup, Hurns, Deontay Thompson, I want to say? If you ever just want to see quick depth charts, go to like ourlads.com, and the depth charts there are pretty nice to look at. Yeah, it's Terrence Williams, Tavon Austin, Deontay Thompson, Michael Gallup, Allen Hurns, Cole Beasley. It could definitely be Cole Beasley even. Terrence Williams is too unreliable. I don't think that Dak is going to gravitate toward him unless he has some sort of like Devontae Adams leap forward. I think Prescott's the type of guy who wants someone he can really count on, and if you are at all unreliable or if he doesn't trust it, he's not going to go your way much. I also think that with that offense and how good that running game can be, like they should want a more high percentage passing game. Not saying that they should have like gotten rid of Prescott or Dez altogether, but I don't think he's the type of receiver that keeps that offense on schedule. Especially because he hasn't really been the same in a couple of years. Matt Sullivan, am I too late to suggest that lineman and fullback package? I'm trying to think if they let me do formation subs here. But even if it's not in practice, it's something that I want to happen when the games count. And A-Alt sends another incredible super chat. Thank you very much. Keep up the good work. I will do my best. I really appreciate all the super chats today, everybody. And just even if you just wanted to show up and spend some time here, that means a lot. You know, I'm really lucky that there's a group of people that enjoy this kind of content. And it's amazing what can turn into, you know, basically a career these days. If you can get an audience for something, then it's whatever at this stage of the game. So I appreciate all of you continuing to support me on this 5-year-old football game now. NCAA 14 turned 5 years old this past week. And I still think it's one of my favorite football games of all time. I love playing it. There's certainly some flaws and whatnot, but there's something special about this game. And I love the NCAA formula. Nice catch, Hayden. Ooh, Alex Hardy. Oh my god, A-Alt. Turn around, he sends another one. I really appreciate that, A-Alt. Oh, that's a good deep ball right there for Tyrone Houston. Man, Warren's deep ball is something special. For so many years in this series, we didn't really have a deep passing game. And even when we did, it was nothing like this. There was nothing like a consistent deep ball thrower. And it also took receivers to get it done. Now, we had Ja'Cory Day, but for most of Day's career, the passing game wasn't at a place where we could do that. The quarterback play, you know, Marquise Walker at his best was a good quarterback, but even his deep ball, it took time to get there. I think as a senior, Marquise Walker's deep ball became pretty good, but before that, it wasn't really a big option. Could you imagine Ja'Cory Day with Brandon Warren? Kyle Thomas here, slipping to the outside. Oh, he gets tripped up. I think that's Springs. Yeah, I'm going to change the music right now. Give Kolbert some farewell snaps. One thing you have to keep in mind, too, is that Warren's injury rating is actually... it isn't great. It's somewhere in the middle between reliable and bad. It's about an 81, 82 or so. So it's not, I can't guarantee that you haven't seen the last of Justin Kolbert quite yet. We're going to be playing in the Pac-12 with an offensive line that, might have some issues against probably really good defensive linemen every game. So I'm not trying to rain on everybody's parade here about the season, but there's no guarantees here. Remember, we never thought Kalispell was going to be a 14-0 Rose Bowl winning team a season ago. So, what's fun about this is you never know where things are headed. I love the unpredictability. I love just that, imagine that Rose Bowl, Shannon Evans doesn't make that play and we lose. It could have been that easy. Or in the first game of the season, that was an overtime game. Overtime games are fluky. All it takes is a fumble, and then the other team kicks a field goal and you lose. Look at Houston. So, a lot had to go right last year. We had to win some really tough games. We had to, obviously, pull it out against Penn State there at the end. I want to get a shot here at Brandon Warren in just a moment on one of these replays for the thumbnail. Warren to the outside. Ooh, got it there. And Houston makes another great catch. Jersey is absolutely filthy at this point. And there is Brandon Warren. There's one shot. I want one more, maybe. I like that one right there. All right. Got what I need. Ooh. One thing I also think about this upcoming season is that I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be really good. I think that he'll make KC fans, if there's anyone who still is going to miss Alex Smith, I don't think they will for long. We haven't seen a lot from Mahomes to this point. He started one game last year, and he was mostly good in that game. A lot of good moments from it. And then just trusting Andy Reid. They have a lot of playmakers in that offense as well. You know, Andy Reid and his coaching tree, they know how to run offense. So I'm confident that they got it right in Mahomes. And I also think they have an offense that already suits his skill set in his first year as a starter. And not many quarterbacks can say that. Trubisky can't. Jared Goff can't. Carson Wentz couldn't. But they were also rookies when they played him. Mahomes isn't a rookie. Thoughts about Derek Carr next season? I really got to hold judgment on the Raiders for now because I wonder how different things are going to be with Gruden there. Now, maybe it's a little hyperbolic to think it's going to look like a game from the the early 2000s when he's out there and the offense they're going to run with like I formation every play and no 3 receiver sets. But I think that getting rid of Michael Crabtree was a really bad move. In many games, like, Crabtree has been the more reliable receiver. He's certainly been a better player in the red zone, and that's something that you shouldn't lose sight of. 7 versus 3 points. And Crabtree is very good down there. I can't understand the logic behind getting rid of him. But at the same time, Jordy Nelson is an awesome red zone receiver. So maybe it'll be replicated just fine. Yeah, the Gruden contract, like, I don't think there's any way to justify that contract right now. It's 10 years, $100 million, and coach contracts are fully guaranteed. I don't want to play a 3-4. Let's just go 3-4 solid. Close enough. Alright, 72. That was not a good impression right there. Whatever that was. Wasn't a block, that's for sure. Thomas here to the outside. Oh. Breakout here with Warren. Gotta throw it. 1-on-1, and now Hayes wins the battle. Raiders entering cap hell soon. I should look into that. Let me go to over the cap here in a moment. I'd like to see their situation. I think the biggest problem for them is that Khalil Mack needs a deal. So just give me a moment here. Raiders cap space. Right now they have $2.2 million in cap space. For next year, they're only at 44.9. And that wouldn't include Khalil Mack. Who are their free agents next year? That's the big thing. So the 2018 free agents? No, 2019. All right, I'm just figuring out how they do it here on Over the Cap. I mean, they're not going to lose a ton next year. It's Khalil Mack, and they have the money to re-sign him. They just got to do it. Like right now, they're absolutely strapped for cap. Definitely maximizing that. As far as like bad contracts on this team, I mean, the Tahir Whitehead one might not work out, but I think he's a solid player. Jackson, Penn, Osemele. I don't know. I'm not sure it's as bad as it could be. They're just strapped right now is all. Amari's deal too. Oh, yeah. Definitely Amari and Mac. I mean, those two were two of the players that finally brought that team to relevance again, and if they lost any of those two, it would be really disappointing. Amari would just go on to have a Hall of Fame career with the Patriots is all. Wow. Kyle Thomas is so fun. Man, if you're playing one of these series, you need to get you a Kyle Thomas type of running back. Yeah, Amari, he's not as good right now as I thought he would be at this stage. He's still going to be like in this league for a very long time, barring major injury. But I was expecting him to become like a top 10 receiver, and I don't think he's there yet. I'm not even sure where I'd rank him right now. I'm sure I could list off a bunch of receivers I think are better at this stage. Oh, come on. We're trying to get Thomas Roberts the football here, and we just can't do it right now. Getting very unlucky. But we're definitely going to spice up the offense here with more twin tight end looks. Roberts is 6'5", Hayden John Charles is 6'6", so we can definitely play some basketball with this team, that's for sure. And Kyle Thomas, incredible. Who would be the starting five if we had to take this team right here and make them into a basketball team for a quick game? How would we do it? I think would we all be okay Brandon Warren playing the point? I mean, he can pass, he's fast. I feel like that's good enough reason right there. Then we'd have to have probably Hayden John Charles at one of the forward spots. Or even center. There's no one that's 7 foot on this team to play center. Carl Joyce. Could Carl Joyce play like shooting guard? He knows how to get open and create space. We could have Warren and Joyce at guard. And then Hayden John Charles at maybe center. Then, Glenn Hayes also be a good fit for this team, I think. So a couple of you have said Carl Joyce for shooting guard. Julio or Nuke? Oh man, that's such a tough one there. I actually have to think about that one, just because I think so highly of DeAndre Hopkins, and he never gets the love for like number 1 receiver or number 2 receiver. Like Julio can beat you in more ways, but I think that DeAndre Hopkins in a lot of ways is the better player. But that's also comparing 2 elite level players, and it's almost unnecessary. It is unnecessary to compare them. Carl Joyce at forward. John Charles, Belafonte, Hayes. That's a little small. We gotta get some more size out there, wouldn't you think? Noah Manuwai at center. Wesley Merrill. Anthony Owens if we still had him. Alex Hardy seems like that dude at Rec who gets every rebound but can't make a layup. Here we go. Kyle Thomas. So I think right now I want to try putting Henderson out at maybe... here's what I'll do. I'm going to do a 4-receiver set. I'm trying to simulate what a 2 tight end set could look like with this team. So instead of Knightley here, I'm going to put Thomas Roberts. So here's some 4 wide stuff. That one doesn't have enough. Love this formation. Don't have many plays in it, so bear with me. Roberts there as the inside receiver. This could be a monster year for Carl Joyce. The more I play with him in practice and just like watching his highlights back when I put together that video the other day, like Joyce was outstanding. I'm sure you all want to see me bust out these weird option plays when the games count. Do you get a little scared when I call like triple option still? I know that used to be a topic of conversation. No more triple option. But now it's like triple option is a part of our offense. And it's a pretty good part. Because look who our 3 options are. It's typically Warren, Troy Lee, and Kyle Thomas. What are the chances we get the same play called 3 times in a row? I just don't see how this play works. This play is so strange. I like what I've seen from Houston so far. Oh, look at that. Triplett gets a hand on it. Put in Belafonte. I should switch up the running backs. We've seen plenty of Thomas, both in this stream and in the overall series at this point. We'll still stream for a little bit longer, but we will be wrapping up here in a little short while. So we've gotten to see plenty of Joyce today. Let's put in Payne. And for the defense... how about we get Xavier Bozeman out there at Mike? I want to get Jaquan Cunningham into the game. And Maurice Collins. Try recreating the Philly special. I'm not sure how I'd go about that. The closest I can do is like the throwback screen that I have called a couple times before. It's in the Wildcat. I enjoy busting out the trick plays. This team was founded on a trick play. Remember our first play in team history? That flea flicker to Tyler Adams for like 40 yards? I had that play planned out like a week or 2 in advance. I knew we were calling a flea flicker on the first play in team history. And I'm so happy it worked out as well as it did. I wasn't sure how many of you would enjoy this series at the very beginning of it, but I'm glad that this game still has plenty of life left. And now we are 7 full seasons into the series with still more to come. Season 8 is going to start this week. And it's kind of a new beginning for Kalispell. Who did you root for in the Super Bowl? Wasn't really rooting for anybody in particular, but I guess I was happy to see Philadelphia win it because I'm not going to cheer for the Patriots to win it. When it comes to neutral things, like if I have no rooting interest, I tend to cheer for whoever the underdog is. So, obviously, Philly was an underdog in every playoff game they were in. Despite 2 of them being at home. One against my Vikings. Don't want to talk about it. And also, I wanted to see Nick Foles do well because I used to have a very high opinion of him after his great season the first time around in Philadelphia, when he had like 22 touchdowns and 2 picks. I thought he was the real deal at that point, and I guess I can't really be all that wrong now after the Super Bowl MVP performance and how he did against the Vikings. Oh, Thomas Roberts. Got some hops. The Texans' first play ever was a flea flicker? Oh, I had no idea that I wasn't even being original with that. I'd love to see that. I remember watching... I don't remember the game exactly, but I remember watching that game when I wanted to see Houston win their first game ever. Because I know from Vikings history, they won their first game ever against the Bears. Out of this year's rookie quarterbacks, who do you think will turn out to be the best and the worst? For best, I'd say Baker Mayfield. Worst, I would say probably Josh Allen. I just haven't been convinced of his game working out yet. When did you stop watching 38-7? Great question. I stopped watching, I think they had a drive in the second half early on where they had gotten like down to the red zone or whatever, and they ended up there was either like a takeaway or they went forward and didn't get it. I completely checked out though. I stopped watching. It was on in the background, but I stopped actually like watching and paying attention to the game after halftime. And honestly, I really felt that pick 6 that tied the game, that didn't feel like a pick 6 that tied things up. That felt like a pick 6 that put you down by 50. Because I knew that Philly defense was good. And I knew that once they got back into the game like that with one of the most energizing plays in football, it was bad news. So one roster battle we're actually going to be deciding in the next stream is going to be second tailback between Troy Evans, Troy Lee, and Marty Belafonte. I think Belafonte has earned that opportunity to at least contest for number 2 running back. In college, I'm a Minnesota Gopher fan and UTSA Roadrunner fan. And in the NFL, I'm a Viking fan. Will you be playing Gridiron Champions? If the game comes out and it's on par with their vision, absolutely. I'd love to see it. Love to check it out and play it. Isn't like Axis Football coming to console? I'm not familiar with that game very much, but I knew that it was like coming, and then I forgot about when it was coming and if it still is on track. Ooh, Mike Harris. So Bo Lee has already locked up the number 1 halfback spot. Let's get the Lees out here. We'll go Troy first, Bo second. You could call me a fan of the Wild, but I don't exactly do a good job of supporting them, so it's hard to say that. But like, if I paid attention more, I would be a Wild fan, yes. Now, one thing that gives me a little pause about putting Marty Belafonte as the number 2 halfback is that Lee might be more powerful and therefore a better complement to Kyle Thomas. So I guess we will figure that out through practice. Lee also is still very elusive. Yeah, Drew, I have to say that the Colts' 4th down play against the Pats is probably the worst play in NFL history. It's right up there with Kirk Cousins taking a knee instead of spiking. As far like that was like, it wasn't supposed to be a play. That that thing they did there. Another play that stands out to me. There was an interception Matt Ryan threw. I think it was in London against the Lions, and it was maybe the worst interception I've seen outside of my own YouTube channel. There was one pick in there. I don't know what he was doing. And that one still stands out in my memory. Hayden. Do not remind me about your new quarterback's play. Yeah, I'm still not sure how to quite feel about Kirk Cousins. You know, I want to be excited, but also I'm a bit of a realist here with the Vikings. I try to be anyway, because you can only have high expectations for so long and then have your dreams crushed before you start adapting yourself. It kind of like being a Vikings fan, it's like you're in a constant... you're always like worried, like, okay, yeah, this team just won 13 games, but something bad's about to happen. There's always like this sense that the sky is about to fall. And for Cousins, you know, I like a lot about Kirk Cousins' game, but there's just, we haven't seen him play as well as I think he needs to play. Like, whatever we've seen right now, it still needs to get better. It still needs to get more consistent. The turnovers got to come down. At his best, I do think that, you know, he can be hyper productive. But I'm most concerned with, like, how does he play in close games? How does he play when the game is on the line? And for that, I guess we got to wait and see. DC sports fans have had this feeling too. Well, at least you guys got a title now with the Caps. Although, can someone tell me what happened to the Nationals? What on earth is going on with that team? I don't get Nationals broadcasts or anything, so I don't really follow them super closely, but I know they were playing so well, and now not so much. Put Bo Lee in conversation for halfback. Are you the bias coach every single Pee Wee parent complains about? You know, I might be. Might as well just trade away Harper. Oh, that's depressing. We got a Red Sox fan here, not Sean. I have a feeling your name is a lie, Sean. Boston Red Sox, yeah. The Red Sox lineup, it's not like super complete or anything, but when you have Mookie Betts and JD Martinez, as good as those two are, it's pretty nasty. Bo Lee is actually a really high-rated fullback, or running back. They also have ex-twin, Eduardo Nunez, so I like him a lot. I guess I failed to realize that Bo Lee's rating at running back is actually really good. Do you see the Dolphins getting a new quarterback in 2019 if Tannehill gets hurt again? I see them bringing Teddy Bridgewater home. If that happens. That's assuming Teddy Bridgewater has not assumed the role of starting quarterback of the New York Jets by then, which is possible. I am still the #1 Teddy fan, so I want to see Teddy succeed so badly. Harold Kaufman sends a super chat. The real question is what happened to the Mets? Yeah, for sure. Especially because, you know, for a lot of years, they really weren't much. And then all of a sudden now they got all these great pitchers and they have like reason to be hopeful. They go out and get a player like Yoenis Cespedes and still like, you know, they just can't keep it stable long enough. And then you have the Twins, who just, they regress badly. Bullpen always has somebody who's having a terrible week. Buxton hurt a lot. Basically relying on Eduardo Escobar, Eddie Rosario. Joe Mauer's stepping up, that's cool. And then Dozier, who might get traded. Oh, Hunter Henry's injury, yeah, that really sucks because he definitely put his name on the map last year, as kind of expected. He's a really good tight end, and you think it would open the door for Antonio Gates to return. Hopefully, he comes back ready to go next year. Same with Tyler Eifert. When Eifert's healthy, he's tremendous. Thomas Roberts right down the seam. I cannot wait to get him on the field this year. Do they bring Gates back because of Henry? It makes sense. A lot of sense. His chemistry with Rivers, what he can do in the red zone. It's the only team he's ever played for. And a limited free agent market. Is anyone going to bite for a pump fake? I don't think so. I think it's just for show. Throwing the ball around with Warren is quite fun. And now with increased accuracy, what can Warren do this year? Just think, it can still get better. Oh my goodness. So you guys talk so much about Troy Lee. The defense is like, we got to silence these people. We cannot have the Bo Lee fan club running wild like this. Speaking of red zone, move the ball down there. Hey, good idea. We've been at midfield all day long. If Bo Lee is to play some tailback, it's down here. Oh, come on, Hayden. Got to make that catch, Mackey Award winner. They're not going to make this easy on me, though. The stream can't end until Bo Lee scores a touchdown, by the way. Which might not take that long. Wow, almost got out of there, too. I want to see that trucking, supposedly, Bo Lee brings to the table. Oh, I think maybe the ratings are wrong here. Maybe your hero, Bo Lee, is not that good. No, we never got any transfers, sadly. Still. 7 full years, 0 transfers in the Kalispell Dynasty. We had a player transfer away. That's been pretty common. Defense has been quite ruthless in this stream. As you can see, Boy Lee is not enjoying it. Oh, it's a halfback pass. Yes. Troy Lee getting his moment. Thomas Roberts! That's a touchdown. Oh, man. Man, the hits Lee is taking are just incredible. How worried are you about Dalvin Cook coming off of an injury? I am not. Just because of, how many successful ACL recoveries we've seen, and the fact that he has about an 11-month recovery from ACL tear to week 1. So I'm guessing he'll be fully healthy for preseason games. And they'll probably ease him back very lightly. I'd say in preseason, if he plays, he'll have less than 10 touches. But then in week 1, they unleash the beast. This is a Dalvin Cook fan club right here. Who do you think the most overrated quarterback in the NFL is? Most overrated quarterback. Who has a very high opinion of them that really isn't deserving? Oh, right now, I think it's Jimmy Garoppolo, just because I think that the hype train has completely fallen off the tracks at this point. Mostly because San Francisco went 5-0 with him, which means the most important thing to come out of that is that we never saw him lose. We don't know what it looks like yet when Jimmy Garoppolo loses. We don't know how he responds from losing. We don't know. I think Garoppolo might live up to the hype people have, but I think the hype is premature. I don't think he's a bad quarterback, but I have not seen anything yet to make me think that he's guaranteed to be above average. A couple of you say Cam. I disagree on Cam. I think when he has to be, Cam Newton is excellent. And we saw that in the game against the Saints, just how good Cam can be. And in that game, he was a one-man show. And I think that if you gave Cam like a respectable cast of offensive players, he was already MVP once, and honestly that team around him wasn't all that impressive. It was basically Ted Ginn catching 1,000,000 touchdowns that year. And obviously, Cam didn't make a lot of mistakes in his MVP season. He had a great defense to help him out, but that was more help than anything on offense. Yeah, Cam is inconsistent, but I think, I fall into this trap, and I think a lot of people fall into it, where we correlate overall value with efficiency. And we do it almost to a T, to where we completely, we shut out the idea of players like Will Fuller, who might not have the most reliable hands, but can make amazing plays. Or players like Cam Newton, for instance, who are never going to lead the league in completion percentage, but they're still going to have a lot of yards and a lot of touchdowns. You've got to find a happy medium there with how much efficiency really matters. Now, you can be someone like Aaron Rodgers, who is both high ceiling, high efficiency. That's rare to come by. But I mean, would anyone say that Alex Smith is more valuable than Cam Newton? Players who are, I think, closer together there in terms of their overall talent level, but obviously Smith is more of a high floor, low ceiling quarterback. Not necessarily. Last year was definitely a good year for him. But I don't think you can just discount players because sometimes they're inefficient. It depends how inefficient they are. It also depends on how good is their best. So, for instance, if Jameis Winston can't get his career on a better track and start to do the things that people thought that he would, then that's where you would like discount his value because he's not only inconsistent but offers lower upside. I think with Cam, you're getting pretty considerable upside. And that's kind of where I have that disconnect with Kirk Cousins because he is inconsistent. The ceiling is also inconsistent with him. Sometimes, he's capable of a 400-yard, 4-interception, or a 400-yard, 4-touchdown game, but he's also, it's possible the next game could be 125 yards and 4 picks. So at that point, it becomes, how do the positives and negatives cancel each other out? Because say Kirk Cousins could never get to the postseason. Say he could never win the big games. The negatives would therefore cancel out a lot of his positives with his touchdowns and his yards. But say you got someone like Cam Newton and say that, the Panthers routinely make it to the postseason. He is among the top 10 in yards and touchdowns. That's where, it's worth it. So that's just kind of a more philosophical football topic, I guess. It's an interesting one for sure. But in the overall, I've usually favored efficiency a lot, which is why you saw me not want to really put Brandon Warren at quarterback immediately. I thought about wide receiver because my thought process for a long time has been like efficiency first. And then I've tried to shift my whole thought process after watching players in the NFL and other leagues, like, even in baseball, where players nowadays will strike out 25% of the time, 30% of the time, but if they hit 40 home runs, no one cares. So it really makes you think about the value of these players in a different way. Well, everyone, it's been an awesome stream. I appreciate all of you spending a chunk of your Saturday with me. I appreciate all of you continuing to support me in this series and the channels. It's awesome being able to make content for a fan base like you guys that are so supportive, and you make it really fun to interact. Every time I do one of these streams, I draw out practice and whatnot because I just want it to keep on going. It's a fun time. So that is going to bring an end to the live stream today. Thank all of you for showing up and just being you. With that, a Matt Pierre video is going to go up on the second channel here in a little while. I still have to upload that video, so just sit tight, and that's going to go up this evening. And then tomorrow on the channel, you're going to see the Bears franchise. I have that next game all edited, so I'll commentate that first thing in the morning. Have that to you in the afternoon. Please leave a like on the video if you haven't done so already. Those likes are, of course, very helpful to the channel. I appreciate all the super chats, all the questions and comments. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have some fun, enjoy this summer. And I will see you with more Kalispell football soon. Have a great day.